Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, the Supreme Court temporarily halts orders directing DOGE to produce documents. And DHS cuts off access to ChatGPT and other commercial AI tools. It's Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's dive into the day's top headlines. The Supreme Court temporarily stayed two lower court orders on Friday that mandated the production of documents and other information from the Department of Government Efficiency. In a brief order from Chief Justice John Roberts, the High Court stayed the discovery process in the public records lawsuit against DOGE pending another order by the court. The now stayed orders from Judge Christopher Cooper of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia had granted an expedited discovery schedule that required DOGE to turn over information about its inner workings and have its administrator, Amy Gleason, give a deposition. The decision, for now, allows the Trump administration to withhold information about the Elon Musk-associated efficiency arm, while the justices review the government's appeal. Last Wednesday, Solicitor General John Sauer asked the High Court for emergency relief in the case, arguing that Cooper's decision turned the Freedom of Information Act on its head. At the heart of the case, which was brought by the government watchdog nonprofit Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, is the question of whether DOGE constitutes an agency for the purposes of FOIA. While the administration says that DOGE is exempt from public records laws as a presidential advisory body, the nonprofit argues that the efficiency team has wielded substantial independent authority and as such is subject to FOIA and the Federal Records Act, which requires preservation of records. In other news, staff at the Department of Homeland Security are no longer allowed to use commercial generative AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, according to a memo sent to employees this month. The move is a reversal of a previous policy which had conditionally allowed the use of commercial systems and a pivot toward technology developed in-house. Earlier this month, DHS's Chief Information Officer, Antoine McCord, sent a memo directing component tech offices to begin restricting the use of generative AI systems and pointing employees to internal tools. Older guidance, which the CIO described as outdated and too narrowly focused on commercial generative AI, was also removed from an online list of IT management directives. The decision comes as federal agencies weigh various pathways towards integrating generative AI into their workflows, a priority of both the Biden and Trump administrations. While some government agencies initially blocked generative AI systems, CIOs have slowly started to develop usage policies. Some agencies, like DHS and the General Services Administration, have now built their own platforms based on commercial technologies, while others have opted to use products like ChatGPT Gov through government cloud systems. Late last year, Michael Boyce, the leader of DHS's AI Corps, announced that a new tool called DHS Chat had become available to nearly 20,000 employees at DHS headquarters. The platform was designed with commercial large language model technology through an API and built in a secure environment, FedScoop reported at the time. Its introduction came after DHS conducted several generative AI pilots throughout its component agencies. And now, in a pivot to focus more on DHS Chat, the agency has revoked previous approvals for commercial generative AI systems, the latest memo explained. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.